Back when I first hit 10,000 subscribers, I did a special little live stream. The premise being that I would play a One Piece game because I had heard very bad things about One Piece games, and I thought playing one for my 10k special would be a pretty funny concept. So I chose One Piece Burning Blood. Oh no! Chopper, no! And before you go anywhere, that's not what this video is about. So ever since I did that live stream, I've been under the impression that all One Piece games are absolute poo. Until one day, I was chilling, playing some games, when suddenly, I saw a notification pop up that said, "This item on your wishlist is now on sale." What game was it, you ask? One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. Which is what this video is about. So I was like, yeah, whatever, guess I'll give it a try. As soon as you boot up this game, you are instantly thrown into a fight with Big Mom and Kaido in the form of a tutorial, which I didn't get footage of because I didn't think I'd end up making a video on this game. So before we continue, I should probably explain what One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 actually is. So basically, it's a hack and slash game where you, as an overpowered character, go up against big groups of enemies and just whack them around. The rounds give you missions of which you have to complete certain criteria, and once you've done all the compulsory ones, you beat the level, and if you fail or die, you have to do it all over again. There are also some missions where you just go up against one big bad enemy in the story, like Lucci, Katakuri, and Kaido. No Brook vs Big Mom mission though, that was quite disappointing. So why do I like this game? I don't know, it's pretty fun. I just really love the satisfaction of ploughing through a bunch of enemies. Am I a psychopath? So the story mode is a bit of a funny one because it starts with Alabasta, then Water 7 and Eni's Lobby, then Marineford, then Return to Sarbodi and Dressrosa in the same chapter, then Whole Cake Island, and finally Wano. But not just any Wano. A game original story, because Wano wasn't finished when this game was made, so they made up the rest, which, as you can imagine, is pretty bad. So the story is pretty good for the most part. The missions are fun unless you die and have to start again, but otherwise good. In fact, I played through the whole thing in like 3 days, and bought the Onigashima DLC, and am now going for the Platinum, so yeah, I'd say I quite enjoyed this game. Now let's get to the game original Wano story. So it's pretty formulaic. You fight Hawkins and then storm Onigashima with Katakuri for some reason, then fight Katakuri along with the other Big Mom pirates, and finally Kaido. And in the final battle, he just teleports somewhere and starts charging up his blast breath, so you have to go stop him and rinse and repeat that a few times until the final cutscene plays, which I'm going to break down because, good lord, Oda would never.
俺を舐めすぎなんじゃねえのか。
奴の隙をついて一気に勝負を決めるしかねえな。
私に任せて。
うっとうしい。
So there we have Exhibit 1. When I first saw this cutscene, I was genuinely under the impression Carrot has just dealt the finishing blow to Kaido, which does make sense because she scales above Goku, but anyway, let's keep going. So yeah, their Kid and Aokiji help hold Kaido in place, and then Luffy rocks up. How did Luffy fly all the way up there without realizing Momo was on his back? Also, spoiler, Momo does nothing here.
消し積みにしてやるボロブレス
Oh wowie, Sabo shows up in the nick of time to save Luffy. What an epic brother.
シャンブルズ
I actually find this part quite interesting because I've never really thought about the idea Kinemon could probably cut Kaido's blast breath, because obviously his whole thing is his ability to cut fire, and if he did that in the series, please let me know because I forgot if he did, and obviously Law cut it because of Room, so that part was probably the best the cutscene had to offer. Then there's this.
どこ行った麦わら
俺はここだカイドウお前を倒して俺は桃との約束を果たす
図に乗るな海賊ごっこの小僧が
このゴムの
What in the power of friendship? And then there's the fact Kaido got done in by Gum Gum Culverin. Canon Luffy wishes he was that strong. Otherwise, I want to mention this game's graphics and art style. As far as anime games go, the graphics are pretty good. Nothing Rebirth of Souls level, but that game is unbeatable in every aspect as far as anime games go, just saying. The art style I like because it gives the characters a sort of doll-like aesthetic, like a plastic toy type beat. I think it looks kinda neat. There was a part in the story I want to mention that I found pretty funny, and that's the devs couldn't be asked to model the Vinsmoke's carriage, so as Luffy's screaming at Sanji, he's just walking along crying. There are a few other things of this sort, like how they didn't model Brook's whole cake outfit or any Wano outfits until they came out as free DLC, and the Law one is unavailable unless I buy a pack I'm not interested in, which makes me much sad. Speaking of DLC, I wouldn't say I regret buying the Onigashima DLC. At all. Playing as Gear 5 Luffy is so much fun in that game. In fact, one of the recording sessions I did was replaying the Kaido fight with him, which you've already seen over this video. What I really like about this pack is how much it recreates. Like the Gear 5 transformation into the iconic laugh, and multiple special attacks that mirror the anime. You also get Yamato and Kaido in the pack, but I've only played Kaido once and I realised I don't really like large characters in that game. Yamato is pretty fun to play, but yeah, I would recommend that DLC if you're planning on getting the game to try for yourself. It's also included in the Ultimate Edition, but I wouldn't get that unless it goes on sale. A couple other things I want to mention that are just kind of little, they're not very important, I just wanted to mention them, is that I actually found Carrot to be one of the funnest characters to play in the game, which is quite ironic. And I can't shake the fact that when Yamato does her square attack, or X depending on what console you're on, it sounds like she says Hawk to her. So, now that I've played Pirate Warriors 4, I'll give a quick little ranking of all the anime games I've played. Number 5. Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash. All I have to say is, unlike Pirate Warriors 4, not only was the DLC not worth it, but also the game itself, and I want my money back. Number 4. One Piece Burning Blood. It's just a pretty mediocre forgettable fighting game with bad graphics. Number 3. Demon Slayer Hino Kami Chronicles. The first game on this list I would consider using the word good to describe. Number 2. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, I've just talked about it. And number 1 is of course Bleach Rebirth of Souls, because it's peak. In case of any misconceptions, this video was not sponsored by Pirate Warriors 4 or Rebirth of Souls, and was all my genuine opinion. And if you have any anime games you want to see me play and review, leave them in the comments. Also like, subscribe, join the Discord, and I'll see you next time.